time for this now. We've got many moons of making love to do. But if we can feel again the right way, the way that we always wanted, we can stay this way forever. If we can dream again the right way, the way that we always wanted, we can change this world forever. Dream again for many moons, my love. Yeah, for many moons, for many moons, for many moons. Thank you. But I believe in people. An examination with AI's artificial intelligence, planned obsolescence, but we were not designed to stand the test of time. No, we were not designed. No. collaborations. You will ever wear the price you ever pay. Redesigning a new composition. It was evidence as they began to hear the scary.
Whisper in your ear and tell you that I'm here and take you out to dance and maybe find romance. But you can't, so it's Mobtown life. I want to see the friends I miss, or give my mom a kiss, or get my hair cut right, or just sleep through the night. But you can't, so it's Mobtown life. Mobtown life, we'll drink with you forever. Mobtown life, in dark and stormy weather. Mobtown life, what else is there to do? Welcome to season 3 and a very happy floppy fish. But pandemic together. So put on your Wednesday best, at least the top, I guess. We'll take you to the moon. It's live to your bedroom. It's tonight, and it's Mobtown live.
Mobtown Live is brought to you by Flightless Birds and New York City Marijuana.
I am okay. It's spring, which is one of my top 2 favorite seasons, but it's tough, coming into spring from the winter. My acupuncturist would say it's a violent time, that the flowers bursting from the earth. And so what that means, if you're a person, is that you might be feeling a little bit like extreme, like really like kind of in kind of a schizophrenic way, the way capitalism makes us feel.
I feel that.
How are
I feel
you?
that. I'm fine. I'm enjoying the spring. It's in that sweet spot before it gets warm. I hate warm weather. It makes me sweat. I don't enjoy it. You got to turn on the air conditioning, but right now is okay. I like that spot where you can sit outside in a sweater. You read your book. I did that earlier today. That was nice.
Yeah. I should say that Sarah's not here this week, and I'm her meager replacement. She's off slaying dragons and taking names, etc.
And so this is how this works. You should hit like and subscribe, and also Venmo us at Mobtown-Live kick us a $10 cover charge, unless you can't afford it, in which case, cool, don't worry about it.
And if you can super afford it, then give us more.
Like $400 to $500, that'd be fine. Don't worry about
That'd
it.
be okay.
Also, for those of you who actually live in Baltimore, all 14 of you, we are reopening the Mobtown Ballroom's outdoor cocktail drinking seating situation this Saturday at 5 p.m. We will be open on Saturday from 5 to 10 and Sunday from 2 to 8, maybe 2 to 10 if the action is good. That's Easter Sunday. Come drink with us at the Mobtown Ballroom.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good plan for Easter Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Is drinking a thing on Easter as a non-Easter person? Do you get to drink on Easter?
Well, I think a lot of the evangelicals don't drink at all, which clearly, given how they're behaving, they should take it up. But the Catholics and certain more the old school sterner denominations will they'll have a mass or communion and they'll drink a little wine. And I think that there's a fine long Christian tradition of getting hammered while your kids aren't looking and then talking about God. So yeah, Christianity it's a complicated plucked bird. It is.
We just had Passover where it is traditional to drink 4 glasses of wine as part of a religious ritual of liberation. So in terms of whose religion is winning, I would say it's mine.
I will say that Judaism has always been cooler than Christianity. Always.
Well, you heard it here on Mobtown Live. We're ranking religions now in terms of coolness.
Bill Henry is watching this, just kicking himself for coming on our show.
So we are really thrilled and lucky to have the one and only Comptroller Bill Henry on tonight. He is a joy and a pleasure, an actor, a nerd, and
Councilman.
A former councilman, right? Michael, you were supposed to do this. What do you have to say?
I think before we bring him right on, that what everyone needs to know is that he came on our show and we lofted him to political power and influence. We did the same thing with the mayor, right? So this is where to be for the sort of backdoor dealings, and you're going to witness them here on the internet right now.
Mobtown Live is widely credited for electing both Comptroller Henry and Mayor Brandon Scott. So for all your electioneering needs, we're here.
All right. Let's do it.
All right.
To immortal with immortal energies, suicidal frequencies that couldn't be denied. It was far too complicated to explain it easily, to retain it feasibly, but I couldn't decide, 'cause you get me every time. Whoa. You'll never let me wonder. Who do you love, Maybe we'll never know. Like a monster, you were creeping and were preying on.
We're back.
Comptroller Henry, welcome to Mobtown Live.
Welcome
Well,
back.
thank you for having me back. Good to
So,
be here.
There you are in your sweet new digs, right? Having ousted the former occupant, are you settling in nicely into your office?
Comfortably, yes. It has taken a couple months for us to really get our arms around the full scope of the changes that needed to be made, but we're getting a lot of progress done, and We have a better idea now of how to approach some of the changes that we knew we wanted to make but didn't quite know how. So yeah, things are going nicely.
All right. Before we get, I think this is the plan, Abby. Before we get into the hard-hitting gotcha questions, you said you were willing to give us a tour of the office, sort of, because it looks so good. It looks so luxurious.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Do you want to? Or I thought. Do you want to do that now? Okay, here.
Whoops. All right. We're making this happen.
There he is.
So this is an exclusive pro tour of the Comptroller's office with
In the
Bill
bowels
Henry
of City Hall.
himself.
Okay. So this is my phone. These are my water bottle and my water cup because it reduces the amount of time I spend walking over to the supply of new water each day. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's.
Oh, wow. What a pro.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. So this is the credenza behind my desk, or what I think of as the stuff that keeps me sane, like pictures of my family. And that it's a digital one. It changes every 15 minutes. Gifts from friends, old pictures of my wife and I. Richard Ladinsky, who was the deputy comptroller to Hyman Pressman, his son, Frank, gave me a copy of this book of the selected poems and other wisdom from the comptroller. And he sent me a little black-eyed Susan, like Hyman used to wear in his lapel.
Oh,
And I let that, I let Yoda hang on to that for me.
Do you think-
Let's see, looking around
could
the
you,
office.
would you be willing to read us one of the poems?
Are they
Sure.
dirty? They totally are. Comptrollers are a crafty lot.
They're probably not. Okay, we're just gonna open randomly. Oh, here's one.
In your best Shakespearean.
Election night. For quite a while, I felt uptight. There was no one that I could fight. There was no spark, no fire, no fizz. But now I've won. How sweet it is. November 4th, 1975.
Incredible.
Well, you've heard it here, folks.
I know. The man could rhyme anything. Let's see. Over here is where we're going to have fireside chats eventually.
Oh,
Right? We're still trying to get the fake logs to work. And there's my semi-comfy chair. Let's see. What's some fun stuff? Okay. Oh, this is a picture of a bunch of people who used to be elected to things. Well, we can talk more about that at some other time. Did you want to go? Did you want to go outside and see stuff, or we just want to stick inside this office?
I think we're gonna torture you some with questions first, and then take the full tour, right, Abby?
Okay.
Was that the plan?
that's the plan.
Okay, then let's turn this off.
All right.
All right. There he is, folks. Look at that chair.
I'm sitting
stole
here
the chair.
wondering how you take your coffee.
Okay. I'm sorry. What was that?
Oh, I was wondering how you take your coffee.
Usually at home. Actually, that's just one particularly bad joke. I actually have mostly stopped drinking coffee. I now drink coffee occasionally or socially. I've gotten myself down to a point where I let caffeine take its normal course of events. So when I have a cup of coffee, it actually means something. I was at a point years ago where I was like 8 cups a day and I could have a cup of coffee and then just go to sleep. And now I am somebody who mostly just drinks water during the day and then maybe a cocktail or two in the evening.
A role model for us all.
Well, I'll leave that there. Okay.
So how about we jump right into it? You touched on this a little bit, but you've been in office for several months now. How are you settling into the role overall?
We've, like I said, we've made some progress. We came in with some very specific goals on modernizing the office. I have to admit that I didn't quite grasp the full scope of what needed to be done. But now that we're here, we're charting that path. It took longer than I expected to do the first step, which is moving the Board of Estimates submissions from being all in paper and with multiple hard copies and wet signatures to all electronic submissions. But we are there now, and the agencies have adjusted to that, and the staff here has adjusted to that. And we're preparing now the next two steps, which are going to be even more customer friendly for the people of Baltimore, to make it easier for people to access some of that information, is getting those electronic submissions into a database that then can be outward facing, so that any member of the public can easily search that database for specific contractors or vendors or locations to see how often work is being done of a certain type. And the other thing we'd like to do is we'd like to move the submission date back a little bit further, so that the agenda can really come out the week before the board meeting. It's been clear over the years that some very controversial and very important items come before the Board of Estimates for a decision. And unlike City Council, where if a bill with a large impact gets introduced into the City Council on a Monday, you might not find out it's going to be introduced until the Friday right beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay, because once it gets introduced, it has to go to committee and have a public hearing, and then come back out of committee and come back to the full council for 2 public votes. There's plenty of opportunity for people to chime in and contact people and share their input. But with the Board of Estimates, we release the agenda right now on a Monday afternoon, and we make the decision on the items usually that Wednesday morning.
Oh.
And there isn't really a lot of time, if this is something that the people of Baltimore feel strongly about, there really isn't a lot of time to mobilize. So that is part of what we're working towards, is pushing the submission dates back so that we can get the agenda out sooner and give people more time to pay attention to what is happening with their money.
Just follow up on that real fast. Do you feel like the short amount of time in between something showing up and being passed is intentional? Is that baked into the system for a reason? Is that what happens elsewhere?
Well, the most honest answer to that is yes. I mean, I at this point, I can't say that and ascribe blame to anyone living. I mean, this system has been in place for decades, and none of the people right now, or really, frankly, in the last 20 or so years that I've been in and out of City Hall, none of the mayors who have taken advantage of this were the reason for it. They've just continued to take advantage of the fact that the system was set up to let the mayor make the decisions the mayor wants to make in the format of this supposedly public body meeting publicly, but not with a lot of time for people to beat on the mayor as to what the mayor should or shouldn't do.
Okay.
Speaking of systems that have been in place for a long time, give or take, how many typewriters did you encounter when you started in office as the new comptroller?
This was not on the question
Yeah.
list. This is a gotcha question.
I have to admit that I have played into the humor and occasionally, joked about, it took the entire second day to just clear all the typewriters out of the office. It really wasn't that bad. I think there were two. Because the reality was there were just two people who were doing most of the actual typing. Or at least in the last year, because for pandemic purposes, they were cycling through so that they didn't have, while everyone in the office was being told that they had to keep working and not telework, they were trying to also at the same time meet the spacing requirements that the health department was giving them. And I don't know how they juggled that, but the long story short, I think we actually ended up having to deal with two typewriters. This little desk that my monitors are sitting on right now, I think had been a typewriter desk, but they had already moved the typewriter off of it before I came in the day of my swearing in.
And that's savings.
That's the government looking out for us.
Hey, the easiest money we've saved so far has been they were continuing to print hundreds of copies of the Board of Estimates agenda on paper, even though no one was coming to City Hall.
Dear God. So in terms of helping the people that are watching understand what exactly it is that you do, I find a lot when people think about taxes, they think about, oh, it's just one big blob, right? And you are a city official, and there are also state officials and federal officials. What exactly is the range of your duties, and do you interact with the state or the federal government at all?
So I don't actually interact with the state or federal government that much. In fact, even though other people with the title of comptroller, especially here in Maryland at the state level, do have direct control over financial activities like tax collection and spending authority or procurement. Here in Baltimore, there was a mayoral power grab back in the early 60s. And actually in that really nice antique bookcase behind me is a gift from a friend of mine who retired from the city just before I got sworn into this job. It is a really nice copy of the Baltimore City org chart from 1959. And back in 1959, accounts payable, procurement, and the budget department were all under the comptroller. And treasury management was under the city treasurer, which was a position elected by and reporting to the city council. And in the early 60s, I believe it was Mayor McKeldin on his second go round as mayor. He pushed through a charter change that took all the financial powers away from the comptroller and from the city council and combined those bureaus into a department of finance and put that under the mayor. And so what the comptroller who was coming in then, Hyman Pressman, what he did was he reframed the office as a watchdog position. He pulled under the comptroller, the Department of Audits and the Department of Real Estate, and used those tools to keep an eye on what the mayor was doing, what deals the mayor was making, and it's expanded since then. The Department of Audits really gives the comptroller an ability to look at the operations of the agencies themselves and make sure that they're being effective and efficient. But the most important part of the job is sharing that information with the people of Baltimore. Like, you know, well, I don't want to run off too much with this question, but I said this last year when I came on. I said this all through the campaign. I'm going to continue to say it as somebody in office. I work from the position that if more people know how the city is spending their money, we will have to spend it better. And I really believe that openness and transparency in government lead to accountability, and that's something that the city needs more of.
And I'm also hearing that bureaucracy and how actually matters in terms of how things are structured.
Yeah, structure is important. Bureaucracy matters, but that's where the accountability part comes in, and it's also where the structure part comes in. We live in a city with a very strong mayor. I mean, the strong mayor system of government is its own term of art in political science, but here in Baltimore, we have elevated strong mayor to a level far surpassing any other city of any size in America. And the structural problem with that is the more things that a mayor has power and control over, absolute power and control, that's more things that get to do whatever they want if the mayor isn't paying close attention to them, because no one else has the ability to come in and be like, well, I know that this isn't high on the mayor's radar screen, but it's high on my radar screen, so I'm going to make you be accountable to me. No one else has the power to do that in Baltimore. And so for the last 20 years, we've had, I think I did this, I think we've had 6 mayors in the last, O'Malley, Dixon, Rawlings, Blake, Pugh, Young, and now Scott. So, I mean, technically, we've had 6 mayors in 15 years.
It's a lot of mayors.
And the problem with that in such a strong mayor system is that agencies start to get into the habit of just doing whatever they want to do, because even if the mayor's person tells them to do something else, they can just stall or wait it out and there'll be a new mayor.
Yeah. I mean, the other problem is that I used to work in an office where we would name our printer after the mayor, and we just did not have enough printers. It was a big problem.
Oh my God.
So, speaking of transparency, you ran on the necessity to replace a long-serving 25-year anti-audit figure. What have you done to increase transparency, and what are your dreams for the future?
Well, some of it is just the comparatively small steps to bring the Board of Estimates and its decisions more into the public eye. And so that's where we hope that by modernizing the process and making it more accessible to people at home, citizens who are just interested, journalists who are trying to track a story, small businesses that are trying to do business with the city. If we can make that information more accessible, I think that will be a help. But some of it is also about making the audits that the Department of Audits conducts more relatable. And the example I'll give for that is we just finished a performance audit of the health department. And one of the things that came up in that audit was that the inspectors that the health department uses to go out and inspect food establishments on a regular basis. 2 years ago, the target that they were given was to inspect 80% of the businesses. Keep in mind that the state actually wants you to inspect 100% of the businesses. But the city's budget bureau set a target of 80%. The health department inspected 30% of the food establishments in the city. The budget bureau's response to that was last year they reduced the target from 80% to 65%. And to show their excitement and admiration for the budget bureau relaxing the target, the health department was able to get their inspection rate up to 32%.
So still a failing grade.
It's not just a failing grade, literally they only inspected less than a third of the establishments in the city that serve us food.
Which means the city cannot prove that that 2/3 of those restaurants are serving poisoned chicken wings. They can't prove that.
I don't know how many people are signed up on this mailing list, but I get an email notification from the health department every time the health department closes a restaurant or carry out or any type of food establishment. Anytime they close them down for a violation, they send out a little notice. And I get a lot of those notices, but I got to tell you, realizing now that those are all the notices I get from the 32% that got inspected, is a little daunting. But I didn't share this to talk about the health department doing a bad job. This isn't about the health department. This is about the fact that what the audit revealed, because you would have seen in the budget book this year, you would have seen those target numbers in isolation. What the audit revealed is that the state has been telling the city for the last 2 years, based on our algorithm of how many food establishments you have, you should have at least 41 inspectors. We have 14.
Wow.
And by an extraordinary coincidence, having a third of the inspectors that we need to have means we inspect about a third of the establishments that there are.
What a coincidence.
Math lined up real nicely.
Yeah, and so my point in all of this is, for years now, the health department has been asking the budget bureau for more inspectors, for more positions, and they have been told, I'm sorry. And so this audit is a way of getting this whole situation out to the people of Baltimore to say, hey, if you're okay with this, if you're okay with, rolling a D12 and, if it's, if it's 1 through 4, then you're fine because that restaurant's been inspected.
Okay.
But if you're okay with that, then now you can just stay home and continue to order carryout and delivery. But if you're not okay with that, you might want to provide some feedback this year during budget season that you'd like to see the health department allotted more funds so that we can have the number of inspectors we really need.
As an infrequent D&D player, those are not odds that I like.
Next question. I go. Sorry, go ahead, Abby.
No, you go. You go.
Just real quickly, I was curious about your position on one thing you talked about in your campaign, which was you said that city council people should not be on there for life, right?
Yeah.
They should have a little time to learn the ropes and then serve for a bit and then move on. You did that. and now you're in this office. Do you feel the same way about the comptroller's office?
Oh, entirely. I mean, I think that it's one thing to say you want to spend your life, your career doing public service. There's plenty of ways to do that, and thank you for doing so. But no one elected office should be a career. And so I have introduced legislation to change the charter to limit the number of terms for city officials. I've supported Councilman Schleifer when he introduced similar legislation. I I know that as a politician, you're not supposed to commit yourself to non-existent term limits because you might change your mind. Hashtag Andy Harris. But
that was Andy Harris burn.
Unlike the not so good congressman from the 2nd district, I actually believe in this as a principle that you should serve for a period of time, and then you should, and this is all assuming that the people want to reelect you. If the people want to reelect you for a couple terms, that's fine. But at some point, you really need to just step aside and let somebody else give it a try, because everybody has some strength to offer, some additional life experience or wisdom that's worth sharing. And I think that that's important. And so I've had friends who make jokes after the election about how Joan served for 25 years and Hyman Pressman served for 28. So are you going to try to break the record and be in there for 32 years? And I said, I've already, between time as a staff person and time on the council, I've already served for about 20 years. I can't do that to my wife. She's already put up with this for most of our marriage, and I'm focusing on doing a term as comptroller to make this job again what it used to be and what it really can be. If people want to send me back after that, that's great, but there is no way in hell that I am doing this for 12, 15, 20 years or anything like that.
All right. Well, we'll hold you to that. This show in 15 years is going to check in. Oh God. Oh yes, this is the other question. This is what I'm really interested in for our audience. It's kind of tied to what we already talked about before. Trying to get across the complexities of city government to the average citizen who has a limited amount of time to tangle with it.
Yep.
As an elected official who knows the ropes, if there's one thing that you wished people understood, or you think that would be to their great benefit to understand, what would that be?
That would, well, the one thing just in general at any time is that the way the system is set up right now, the mayor runs pretty much everything. And so if anything is not the way you want it to be, or something is happening that you don't like that's related directly to city services. Now, I'm not talking about, there are carjackings in my neighborhood and, the mayor can't snap his fingers and make those carjackings go away. But if you wished that it was easier to do recycling, it is up to the Department of Public Works to keep recycling centers open for the hours that they're open, to have them where they are. If you wanted more of them, the person who can make that happen at the end of the day is the mayor. The city council can suggest things and put things into law, but at the end of the day, it's the executive that actually enforces those laws. As a watchdog, I can let the people of Baltimore know when what they want isn't being done, when efforts are being made to do it quietly behind closed doors. But even then, I rely on the people of Baltimore to be the ones to actually shame the mayor and hold the mayor accountable for things. I mean, that is the only thing a mayor of Baltimore is afraid of in the scheme of things is that if they want to be reelected, the people might be mad at them. You know, the mayor does not fear any other elected official. There is no other elected official who can punish the mayor or make them do something that they don't want. But the people of Baltimore can deny them another term, and that's where the greatest power to change things comes from. Now, right now, this specific scenario we're in today for the next couple of months, we're about to get several $100 million worth of assistance from the federal government in the form of stimulus funds.
Yeah.
And a responsible citizen would pay very close attention to how we spend that money, along with local dollars.
I want to throw you a bit of a curveball, if I may.
Okay.
And just, you know, I've been in like at work and just kind of bemoaning the way that my personal experience interfacing with Baltimore City government is often one where it's like, I'm going to say it feels like who you know kind of deal, where if you know, let's say, for instance, like someone very high up in a city agency and you want something to happen, you call them and they make it happen. And otherwise you're somewhat screwed. And so I'm wondering if you have any insight into like a fairer process where just because you don't know, you know, Mrs. So-and-so, you can still do anything from like, I don't know, get your like deed or have your event or
have your street tree trimmed.
Yeah.
The example I'll use is a couple of years back, officially the backlog of requests to have a street tree trimmed was something ridiculous. It was like 3 years. And as a council person, I decided to make that like a project to try to understand that backlog. Like how did you get, and what turned out to be the problem was it was simply an under-resourced operation, which is not that uncommon in the scheme of things. But in this case, the backlog was largely the result of the fact that they openly inside their operation prioritized requests that came in from city council people, other elected officials, the mayor's office, to the point where they had become a completely reactive organization. You know, their program was completely reactive to Bud's actions, to the point where if you just followed the normal procedure and called 311 and reported the street tree, your call went into the pile, and then other calls kept getting put on top of it. And so you, as a regular person, that's what the backlog was. You know, that's the person who was waiting 3 years was the person who never used one of these, you know, but it wasn't even a who, you know, like my neighbor is somebody who works in that department and they can get me in. They had actually formalized it into a, you have to go through, you know,
like call your city council person.
Yeah.
Oh my
And
God. Yeah.
and here's the thing. As is often the case, they did it with what they thought were good intentions,
Yeah.
because they thought that they were rewarding community members who were engaged in the process, the people who actually go to community meetings and see their council people or their council people's representatives. They thought council people would be happy with them, because now it means that when council people do call them, they were able to give the council people really good service.
Wow.
And so from the council people's perspective, they thought that the system was working fine. It just wasn't working fine for people who didn't bother to call their council person. And so changes were made, and the two changes that were made were, one, they increased the resources, and it didn't need to be a whole lot. They just needed to give them a few more resources so they could get ahead of the game. And then they started not taking that much more. They didn't move people up just because a council person called. They didn't move them up as much. And they were able to start to serve more people who didn't call. And that got better. But that's one operation in one division of one bureau of one agency in the city. That, fixing all of that, is what lies at the mayor's feet.
Yeah.
And I say a lot when we talk about government in general. I say a lot that sounds like I'm slamming the mayor. I want to be very clear. I'm not slamming Brandon. I'm talking about the way that the system is set up structurally. I think Brandon really does have in front of him the desire to make all of these necessary changes. It's just a question of how many of them can he make, how quickly, and in what order does he make them? Because he is just one person, and even though 14,000 people work for him, they're all going to be following his vision, and his vision is tied to his attention.
And they've all been doing the other thing for who knows how long.
Well, I have to admit, he's bringing in a leadership team, many of whom are from outside. So they're not steeped in this culture. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know what the culture was like in the places where they're coming from, but he's got a good balance of people who are from here and know the issues and the problems personally and directly, and people coming from outside who may have experiences that they can share on how to address these problems. So I'm hopeful.
All right. Abby, what do you think? Are we going to try and fit a tour in, or we just do one last question?
One last question.
All right. Those were excellent answers, and we'll of course be paying careful attention. And I think everybody needs to be.
The Board of Estimates Taxpayers Night, Wednesday, April 21st. Mark your calendar, 6 o'clock on Wednesday, April 21st. That's going to be your first real look at the proposed budget, which should include how we're spending the first big chunk of federal stimulus money.
Go to that, people. Pay attention to it.
Yeah. And you don't even have to leave your house this year.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a watch party.
We should.
Yeah, you can. This will be totally online, and you can watch and listen and make comments from the comfort of your own easy chair.
All right.
Very
so
nice.
Getting to what I really care about, you have sort of shown your cards as just a true nerd, right?
I prefer geek, but okay.
Okay, a geek. I don't know, either one. Okay. What is happening in the world of sci-fi, fantasy, and what do you want to share with people? What's the hot new thing as an expert?
Okay, so I like many other of my ilk are still trying to process the end of WandaVision. both in terms of literally processing the end of WandaVision and what it was like for a little while to be getting new content from the MCU after a year of, expected release dates being pushed back and pushed back.
MCU.
I've watched, the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, I had to look up jankily. I've also been watching the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which dropped 2 weeks ago, and it's not connecting quite as fast as WandaVision did, but I can see that there's a lot of stuff in it that's significantly deeper. They're dealing with race in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in a way that I haven't really seen them do before in anything else. I have to admit, I was both a little happy and then a lot embarrassed to have had Baltimore featured so strongly. Like, they literally came to Baltimore to reveal a decades-old Black superhero who'd been hidden away from recognition, and after leaving the house, they had a questionable interaction with the Baltimore City Police, where one of the characters, where Falcon was essentially being jacked up for walking while Black. And like I said, I'm glad that the Marvel Cinematic Universe addressed this, but I had that same reaction that a lot of people have with The Wire of, yes, the story needs to be told, but did it have to be told here? But, at the end of the day, it's television. It's not meant to be a recruitment poster for the tourism industry here in Baltimore. And I hope that somebody here, some local artist got to make some money because they did some shooting on location here. But that's kind of what I'm. That and the week and a half I took to watch the Snyder cut of Justice League. So.
That's a bounty of geek content that you shared with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I tracked a little bit of that because I'm like more of a swords
Same.
geek and less of a superhero geek. So we'll get to the Lord of the Rings next time, but you still haven't redeemed yourself after that Aragorn gaffe.
To me.
Of course it did, Hachi.
Comptroller Bill Henry, thank you so much for coming on Mobtown Live. I'm going to go out on a limb and say our #1 favorite guest. And we look forward very much to supporting your campaign for re-election.
Thank you. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's focus. We still got 3 years of work, of getting work done. Thank you for having me back. I will try harder. If you have me back the next time, I'm going to try to do this from a non-governmental location where we can go back to experimenting with cocktail creation.
Excellent.
Great.
We look forward to it.
Thank you so much.
All of the truth, even when you give it all away. You give yourself to the dark side of the night. Said you give it all away. They gave us evidence as they began to hear.
Welcome back, everyone. I am here to introduce our musical guests for tonight. They are Charm City Hot Club, which is guitarist Michael Joseph Harris and Chris Belgica. Michael Joseph Harris is a student of the great, Django Reinhardt. He founded Charm City Django Jazz Fest and we are really psyched to have them on the show tonight. So without further ado, Charm City Hot Club.
All right, we're here to play a set of music for all of our friends at Mobtown Ballroom. Me, Chris Belgica here. I'm Michael Harris. We've been playing a lot over the pandemic as Hot Club of Baltimore. Chris has been hooking me up with great rhythm guitar playing. So we're gonna play some great swing music and maybe throw in a couple waltzes too. Enjoy. Yeah. Same. Want to do the same one?
Yeah, sure.
This is It Had to Be You. Well, that was It Had to Be You. We're going to continue with, let's do, I don't know, what do you feel like doing, Chris?
How about all of me?
All of me. All right, let's do it. quick one for you all. Something beeped or something I heard, but I don't know what it was. Could have been anything. All right, let's play a nice medium swing tune for everybody to dance to in their kitchens or wherever you might be. This is called Heavy Artillery. This is always a favorite of mine to play for dancers. Heavy Artillery. This is a lovely one called Les Yeux Dolores, The Eyes of Dolores. It's a beautiful song by Chanchu Vidal, a guitar player from quite a while ago. Yeah. That was nice. That's rough around the edges kind of waltz. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Radio Mark, we were off to the races, hoping the slow and steady could prevail. So we followed the traces. Yeah. But every time I try to cut you loose, I turn back around and to you. No one else can make me lose my cool. No one else can do the things you do. But why can't we
Welcome
Yo!
back.
Here we are.
This is Mobtown Live, and we are here with Brittany Levitt from the one and only Pigtown Climbs.
Hello.
Hi, Brittany.
Hi. I was like, I don't know, sound that cute to go. Yeah, thank you all for having me. I just wanted to kind of share a little bit about the event that we're hosting next week. Just so you know, my role with Pigtown Climbs, I am the program director. And so on April 9th, which is next week, from 7 to 9, we are actually hosting a virtual concert / fundraiser called Climb Me Desk. We kind
That's
of
so cute.
pinned it off a tiny desk for all those local radio lovers out there. And kind of just a little tidbit about Pigtown Climbs is a community-led organization that aims to use climbing as a means to strengthen the Southwest Baltimore area and to help promote racial justice, health, and environmental initiatives. So we're actually working to overturn an overgrown lot on Main Street corridor to create an accessible community climbing and gathering space. So I believe we have 7 folks that are on the team that are helping build this space together, which is really, really cool. And so our event that we're hosting is not only we're going to talk a little bit more about our lot, what we've been doing, kind of getting some community input, but we're also going to be showcasing some really great local Baltimore artists. So I wanted to say a thank you and a shout out to the folks who are willing to participate. Brittany Thomas, we're going to have a band called Buffalo Kings, an artist named Danielle Williams, a dancer named Aaliyah Caldwell, and one of our Pigtown Climb E-Team members and his band. I named it Cody and the Crew because I don't think they have a band name yet. We'll be performing live. And while also that's happening, we're going to be doing a fundraiser. So we're working with a partner, Mid-Atlantic Climbers, who has offered to match us for $2,500. So our goal is to be able to raise that. And then the tickets are free. So every ticket that you sign up for, you get a raffle ticket. So we're going to be giving away some really rad outdoor gear from some big brands. And yeah, we're just really excited to just share more about Pigtown Climbs to a broader community and the Baltimore community.
Wonderful.
I have a couple of questions for you. One is, what is the dream of Pigtown Climbs? So our loyal viewers already know, because they were watching, was it last week or the week before, we had Pigtown Climbs on to talk about, what they're doing, what you all are doing. But we may have a couple of, semi-loyal viewers who need to put in.
So yeah, the dream is to create a space where not only is a space for the community to learn about climbing, but also to bring climbing to the community. Because in a sense, if you've seen movies like Free Solo and things like that, most folks think of climbing, you have to go out to these big spaces. And really, we want to showcase how climbing can be something that you can do close to home and build a community, while also having a space where you can not only learn about health and learning about outdoor education. And so it's kind of combining all of those things. Plus having a space where we can just come together and enjoy really great local ice cream or concerts or movie space. So we're trying to make it a very versatile space.
Okay, you got me with ice cream.
Yeah.
So as someone with maybe some Zoom fatigue, why should I attend this event?
Yeah, I know. We all have Zoom fatigue. Well, number one, because you're listening and giving back to the local Baltimore community and learning about what's going on, not only with Pigtown Climbs, but you're also learning about the artists that are working and trying to create them name for themselves. And also if they have some, one of our dancers has a studio. And so being able to be more connected with the Baltimore community, but then also learn about what's happening with Pigtown Climbs. You can follow us on Facebook and IG where we do post our updates, but it's really great to learn what's happening live and seeing some of our renderings that are going to be happening. But then also it's going to be interactive. So folks will be able to get to talk to the E-Team members. We're going to do some polling. And so we're we're trying to find as many ways possible to keep folks engaged and interactive, because we all know everyone at this point are completely Zoom fatigued.
I love it. Everyone should go to it.
So one more time, Pigtown Climby Desk. When is it
Climby
happening?
Desk. Yes, so Climby Desk is happening April 9th from 7 to 9 p.m. You can check out tickets on Eventbrite. You can find the link on our Facebook page, Pigtown Climbs. You can follow us on Instagram, Pigtown Climbs, and it'll be in our bio in the link tree. Tickets are free, and we're highly encouraging folks to donate to our fundraiser. And every ticket that you get a raffle ticket to get some really dope prizes.
Yes. So don't
Yeah.
miss Climby Desk. You're gonna be like with an awesome community. You're gonna win stuff and hear some great music. And if you miss out, you're gonna get serious FOMO. Brittany, thank you so much for coming on to support Pigtown Climbs, and we're really looking forward to this event.
Yes. Thank you, Brittany.
Yes. Thank you again.
Bye.
Until
Bye.
next time.
I've been looking for you for a while. It's been many moons, love, since I last saw you. Many moons since our two worlds intertwined. It's been many.
Welcome back
It's us.
to Mobtown Live. We have approximately 10 minutes of show left in season 3. So get ready, hold on to your butts, because we're going to be talking about NFT.
We're gonna riff on a hot topic.
Yeah, and this is going to be like top secret information. You're only going to get it here, and then it's probably going to be for sale.
The mainstream media does not want you to know this information.
Hachi, you did some research. Can you sort of get us into this somehow?
Well, I certainly said I was going to do some research.
Shit.
I'm still having trouble saying the word fungible.
Fungible.
Fungal.
Fungible.
Fungible.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like those candies you got when you were a kid with the dip?
No. It means something that cannot be erased or eradicated.
It also said that, so this is different in the world of assets and commodities, in that it's not a commodity, it's a distinct commodity. It's not like a piece of gold where every other piece of gold is like every other piece of gold. This is a unique thing. I think we should back up here.
We should back up, but I like where your head's at.
All right. So as someone who listened to a podcast, like a 20 to 30 minute podcast about NFT a week or two ago and then forgot about it, what does it stand for?
Well, it's a non-fungal token, as Michael clearly said. And that is in the world of, what are they called again?
Blockchain.
I always forget.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's
cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency. Thank you, Michael. We've all been putting on our thinking caps here behind the screen.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Tabitha's fully on board again for Hachi Explains. So basically, someone made an update, and instead of it just being a transfer of a shard, a part of a coin, Ethereum or Bitcoin or what have you, now it can. I believe it's just aliased to anything. I think it can really just say, it's just like, I owe you one art, I think is pretty much what it says. Or in this case, it'll be, you now own this art. But that's literally all it says. And because it's all made up and you're only using the combined economic output vis-a-vis electricity of small South American countries, we can all just play with it for fun. And so you just buy these big made-up things with these other big made-up things.
The rainbow cat.
The rainbow cat
is a big one. So I have a lot of mixed feelings about this.
As you should.
Right, I really do, because on one hand, we should pay artists for the work that they do, and I believe that artists should be compensated for making art. And on the other hand, I fear a hyper transactional world where value is, uh, our sense of value is equated with ownership and transfer of funds, like money, for instance, already not real. Like we gave up the gold standard a long time ago, and now we have another made of money, multiple forms, in the form of like digital currency, Bitcoin, and the like. And it's an interesting time.
I don't even understand. I mean, you said Michael's grinning over there like a crazy educated crazy boy,
Keep
and
going.
what is real? I don't even understand. I think someone bought a house with an NFT, and from what I understand, there's no laws that back any of this up. Like buying the rights to a JPEG or something online is one thing, but buying a house is another. Who's gonna? It's just all these people are just come. Like, maybe it's beautiful. All these people
From
are deciding this is where we go. I don't know.
from what I can tell, it is essentially a way of ineradicably identifying an association between a person and some concept of a thing. So it could be a house,
Concept of a thing,
right?
yes.
Or it could be a JPEG of a rainbow cat. And in the case of a house, that would make sense. It would be a way of sort of, essentially going like, this is your deed to a house. In the sense of a rainbow cat, a lot of the discussion is we
It's
can look at that
called
rainbow cat
Nyan cat, okay?
and we see the
It's
same cat.
never been called rainbow cat. Just,
Whatever cat.
God
Okay.
damn it.
You're talking
Any
to a couple of plebes here.
any cat JPEG, right? If you own it and you look at it, I can look at a copy that is literally identical. And the question is, that's not true of other things that rich people trade, such as art, where it's like, I can look at a Monet on my computer screen that is functionally different from looking at a actual paint and canvas Monet on my wall. How different? I don't know. I wouldn't spend that kind of money on a Monet.
Decrease by age, or where you consider it functionally different. I don't know.
Yeah, like physical art degrades over time. Yeah.
Oh, well, and digital art degrades too.
It does?
It does.
How?
The
What
sun.
the fuck?
The sun. It turns out that we needed
Is
to
it
be
the
slathering
tubes?
our computers with sunscreen all along. Like,
The sun is
Wow.
degrading my JPEGs?
yeah, they're called flip bits. It's actually a very, very serious problems. Cosmic radiation, cosmic rays, other sorts of thing will come into your hard drive and be like, this one right here, you're a zero now. And unless you're watching out for that,
Wow.
you'll never know.
There was one
And that,
that's really
ladies and
upsetting to
gentlemen, is
me.
why you restart your computer. Sorry, Mike, continue.
No, there was one interesting thing about, speaking to what you were saying, Abby, about the NFT thing, is that because, and I'm butchering this, I'm sure, the whole blockchain situation, every time something is sold, there's a permanent record of that. So it's very
Right,
traceable.
In the ledger.
Yeah, one of the things that they were saying that made this interesting for artists is that you could basically have artists remunerated every time something is sold, so that unlike with a painting, once you sell that painting, it's gone, right?
It's more like radio plays.
Exactly. That could be interesting, but I'm going to make a prediction. This shit is useless for art. It might be useful for many other things / houses, but I think that like owning art has always been an absurd rich people thing. Where it's like, I have a
Ooh.
Picasso. So maybe they'll do some of that. But at the end of the day, there's no romance or interest behind owning a JPEG that's identical to everyone else's. It's just like digital bragging rights. Whereas I can be like, I have this thing on my wall. It makes my dick feel bigger. That's wrong.
Well, actually, and let's ask Sarah. Sarah, she's right over here. Sarah, it's the season finale. Can we go 5 minutes long and take? Yeah. Okay. Sarah says we can go a little bit long. So that's actually a more compelling argument. Michael, have you ever heard like the classic pirating arguments?
Let's have it.
Oh God, I had 2 sips of rye, so that's a joke. I had 1 glass of rye, so I can't think. So it says, I make a copy of Aladdin. Disney loses $60. I delete that copy of Aladdin from my computer, and suddenly Disney has $60 more in their bank account. I'm completely butchering that, but and Aladdin maybe is a little bit different than a Monet that you can have as a JPEG. But I mean, how do you consider that? Like the digitization of art and the moving of all assets onto the computer. Like,
I think
does that
that's
ring any bells in your head? Does that make you, how's that
well, I
make you
think it's a
feel?
different question from NFTs because it's not a copyright thing. Like an NFT says that you own this concept of an original digital artifact, but it doesn't protect that artifact from being reproduced. The problem with the classic pirating thing is that these things are so easily reproduced digitally that trying to protect the assets is it's copyright law from the 1950s applied to instant distribution by millions of people on the internet. The world's a mess, honestly. That's my take on it.
It makes me think about polyamory and the notions of
Go
whether like it's like, okay, this is my girlfriend, right? Or my partner, my boyfriend, and they're mine. And I think that we as human beings derive some kind of great pleasure in possessing, just in the act of possession, even if it's a rainbow cat. And and so much of the value of that possession is instilled by like the just the like, I want to say like the mob. It's like everyone's like 9cat is dope, and I get to say that I own 9cat, and something in our biology makes that feel really fucking good.
I have a relationship to 9cat in a way that no one else could possibly
Yeah.
have.
Because it's like the same, yeah, relationships, stock, like investing.
It's madness. But you're right, everybody has that instinct. I think what the reason that this doesn't have any legs on it is because a digital wallet just is not nearly as satisfying as a physical artifact to almost anybody.
It's
Like,
so novel though. It's so novel. If you're someone that is rich and goes for trends,
legit.
This is probably heavy jolly material.
I wonder if it's going to last though. That's my question. I think the rich might pounce on it for a while, but like I'm not going to be. They're going to be like, oh, look at all my look at my blockchain. I mean, I don't even know what these things look like.
It's gonna get to the point. Like, I'd love to hear anyone, like, let's just call the EU competent and large. Like, have they commented on the astronomical amount of electricity it takes to run these operations? It's insane. Like, I don't remember what it was, but it said like all of the electricity going to mining for Bitcoin right now, which is, admittedly different from Ethereum, and I don't know really anything about Ethereum, but it's like Paraguay's electric output is going to mining Bitcoin. Oh, it's crazy.
Like, to me, this is the ultimate gesture of capitalism on crack. It's like, and I honestly, I'm going to disagree with Michael. I don't think it's going to go away. I think it's going to be more and more and more. I think it's like, okay, now I have 9cat, but I want, landlord baby or whatever. Remember
Nope.
where's my rent? No, okay. Like it's like we seize at these false commodities that we think will bring us some kind of happiness, and we just feel more and more empty, so we reach for them more and more, and that's capitalism.
Yes, and I think at its root, it's a way of denying that you're going to die and someone else is going to get all your shit, and most likely someone else is going to throw out all your shit. Like, I got a lot of books. If I tried to give, I spent a lot of money on these books. If I tried to give them away, there would be takers for maybe a quarter of them. You know what I mean? And I have them because they make me happy, but I'm still going to die, and someone is going to have to deal with them.
You're right, Michael. People that trade digital currency really aren't grappling with their own feelings of mortality. And I think that would really help to resolve a lot of these issues.
I think people going like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. Like, it's all these billionaires, they're all like secretly researching longevity shit, and like, maybe I'll live longer on Mars, or maybe I go to the bottom of the ocean. They're nuts. Who would want to live that long? One, and two, it ain't gonna happen. You are gonna rot in the ground or get burned up. That's what's gonna happen to you. And that's a relief. That's my lesson for everyone.
Good thing Michael represents, well, he may represent all of our audience, which we have garnered quite a nice audience, but certainly I don't think he represents the people out there paying the equivalent of $60 million for a JPEG that isn't even subsumed in the in the, what's it called, the actual the thing. Oh, I knew this. I did this once. I mined Bitcoin. I never mined Bitcoin. I mined Dogecoin. I went on Newegg. I bought 4 graphics cards. I zip tied them to a milk crate. I put them on Greg Chaprinka's back balcony because it was his back in his screened-in porch because it was winter, and I ran that thing for fucking 3 months, and then I returned the video cards to Newegg 3 months later. It was fun, but
I think you've lost us a little bit, just a little. But if I may make a recommendation, buy stuff from artists that you like.
Yeah.
And like, that's it. If you like it and someone's making something and you think it's dope, or even like if there's a company that you're like, wow, we really do need a lot of solar panels and you're making these, buy that, like invest in that. It doesn't matter what other people think, like, oh, this is good art or bad art or whatever. Just like, if you like an artist and support their work, listen to your heart.
That's the overarching grand theme of Mobtown Life. Listen to your heart.
We should do a demographic survey. Maybe I'm the poorest artist here, which would kind of be amazing and probable. But I've got a question from the audience, and I also, before I read it, I would like to ask the audience to put in their hopes and desires for season 4. No, but also, how do you think that say something that you think is going to happen before we return with an undetermined date for season 4. But the question in particular is from a Dennis Avdik.
Yep, that's Dennis.
Says, how about art which is wholly executed by the assistants or museum workers according to the plan of the artist? See Sol Levitt. And I don't know what he's talking about. So, Michael.
One of the artists who saved me in a custody battle when I was a child, because he traded art for a lawyer for my mother. Complicated story. Dale Chihuly in Seattle, famous glass artist who lost his eyeball in a car accident, has no depth perception and therefore can't blow glass anymore. And his entire career has been other people executing his designs.
Whoa.
The whole concept of art as like the result of this monomania, like I, an individual, created this, is, as the kids say, problematic. Shakespeare, a lot of his plays were collaboratively done. He collaborated on a lot of plays that we don't even know.
Or she.
Okay.
They got weird with it. I mean,
I'll just say, as an Aquarius, I agree with you.
But I think the whole concept is tricky. The idea of the lone individual creating in the face of like the masses and produce, it's a very like Ayn Rand nonsense. Not that people shouldn't have control over the stuff they produce, but we should all recognize that we didn't do it alone, like Obama said.
And fuck Ayn Rand.
Also, fuck
Wow.
that, yeah.
This is
And
good.
the billionaires.
I like this. I don't understand any
Um,
of it. It's kind of just good quotes, though.
I think that it's time to come to a close of season 3.
Let's call it.
What do we
This
do?
has been Mobtown Live. We'll be back in like a month. So
We'll let you know.
if there's stuff that you want to see, hit us up.
Come have a drink with us at the ballroom this weekend, Saturday 5 to 10, Sunday 2 to 8.
And if you really beg, Sarah will come back.
Yep. All right, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, many moons. I've been looking for you for a while. It's been many moons, love, many moons. Many moons. We haven't the time for this now. We've got many moons of making love to do. But if we can feel again the right way, the way that we always wanted, we can stay this way forever. If we can dream again the right way, the way that we always wanted, we can change this world forever. Dream again for many moons, my love. Yeah, for many moons, for many moons, for many moons. Thank you.
Cats in the way, cats in the way. When I'm online, when I'm on the phone, you're wondering why I'm always home. Cats in the way, cats in the way. I'm walking around the house. What can I say? I open a door and you're in my way. You follow me to the couch. You beat me there, you long for my touch. I love you so much. You're what I deserve, you are my last nerve. You're such a good friend. Cats in the way, cats in the way. When I'm online, when I'm on the phone, you're wondering why I'm always home. Cats in the way, cats in the way. Everything's fine when I'm all alone. You're wondering why I'm always home. Cats in the way, cats in the way.